Welcome back to Golden Eagles Live here on CU-TV. Matt Catrillo here with you, and joining me now is the athletic director himself, Mr. Dave Cadis, and he'll be giving his state of the Golden Eagles. Mr. Cadis, we appreciate you coming on.
Matt, we're glad to be here, and thanks to everybody who's helping us out tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, Mr. Cadis, we know it was another great year in Clarion University athletics, certainly a lot of memorable moments. So give us your overall thoughts on what we saw in Clarion athletics this year.
Well, Matt, I think number one, we didn't hit the bar like I thought we were going to hit the bar in some of our sports, but overall, a lot of good individual performances what we had, and starting with some of the teams in the fall when you get into that, like volleyball and football, some great individual performances. The volleyball team with Laura Subject being PSAC West Player of the Year, and Julian Hauser, the PSAC West Player of the Year on defense. Pretty strong performances going into that. Like I said, you have those names really stick out. The Hannah Heaters stick out. If you really want to go that route. The diving group that we had this year really stuck out. Some real memorable names heading through there. The Heath Calhoun, the Colin Vest, and the Kristen Day. So names are things that really stood out to me as far as this year goes. Not individual teams, but there were great individual performances this year. And also, San Diego with Kayla Schul being honored in the NCAA Top 10. That was a great experience to be able to be out there to see her get that award. And only 2 student athletes in the PSAC have ever been named in the NCAA Top 10. One's Jamie Wolf, who will be honored this Friday night at the Hall of Fame. Jamie Wolf Jackal now being honored, and also Kayla Schul. So we're very proud of that, to have the only 2 student athletes in the entire PSAC honored with the NCAA Top 10.
Now let's get into some of the teams going on this year, Mr. Cadis. First, we'll start with football, as they just hosted its annual spring festivities the other night. We'll start with what are your expectations for this next upcoming year?
We always tell the head coach, win more than you lose and balance the budget. Those are the 2 goals that any head coach has in our program. And I think the spring game went pretty well. I think talking to Chris Weibel a little bit today, the battle of quarterback is going to be something interesting. Nobody really ran off of the starting quarterback position between the 2 that are there right now. And so that's going to be a battle. But the schedule sets up for us pretty well in the fall. We lead off. I've had discussions with the athletic director at St. Francis College, and I think you guys may know we're going to start off with a game down at St. Francis. I believe it's September 6th down there. We're going to play a 1AA opponent. Talked to Coach Foster about that, and he said he thinks we can be very competitive with them. And then road trips, not only to St. Francis, but to Millersville and then to Cheney. Hopefully we get out of those first 3 games 2-1, and we play our first home game, which just happens to be homecoming this year, once again against Gannon. So I'm very optimistic as far as what we have. We need to win, and that's one of the goals that are out there, is to win, and that's what I'm going to be expecting in the fall here.
Yeah, I would definitely say for the first 3 games, a 2-1 start would definitely be ideal. So what are your expectations for Coach Foster?
Well, I think Jay is a good football coach. I think it's something that I feel that very confident in Jay and in moving the program forward. I mean, I want to get back to the 6 and 5s and have a winning season, or the 7 and 4s and that sort of thing. And it's very difficult to do, but I think the coaches have been out recruiting, and there's some good young talent coming in that may see some playing time. And when you got a guy like Julian Hauser on the defense, I think that's something that's very important. So it all starts with defense, and hopefully they've got those guys positioned in a way that they feel excited about the year going forward. A lot of lettermen coming back. So I have very high expectations for Coach Foster and the team.
Now let's go to some spring sports now, Mr. Cadis. We'll start with baseball, as the team didn't finish with an ideal record, but they did double their win total from last season. So are you pleased with the direction this team is heading in?
Well, Matt, yes, I am. It's very difficult to have part-time coaches going up against full-time coaches at other PSAC schools. That's very difficult. And our winner, which is continuing on here, I don't think we've seen spring yet, made it very difficult on our teams to get outside and be able to practice and that sort of thing. Excellent performance by 3 of our volunteer coaches this year, which really added a lot and helped Coach Brown out an awful lot. Very pleased with what we saw. Some changes that are going to be done down there too. It looks like we're headed in the right direction to get some batting cages installed, not only for baseball and softball, and I think that's going to help our teams out. As long as it's not 25 degrees outside like it was all spring basically, we're going to be able to get out and do some more things with that. And the new renovations project will be indoor batting cages, real batting cages, Matt, and I think that's going to help us out. Very young team with baseball again. You know, I got a chance to be at a lot of the games, at the home games this year, and I was very pleased. And I know we're going up against some powerhouses as far as baseball is concerned, but our freshman and sophomore kids did very, very well, and the nice thing about them, they'll turn into sophomores and juniors next year. We need some new pitches, some more pitching, I think is key for us, but yeah, we can double our win total. Am I happy with that? No. I want to win more. I want to make it to the playoffs. That's where we want to make it. That's our goal. It's always been our goal, so that's where we'd like to head in the future.
We certainly would love to see that too, but I definitely think we can both agree that they definitely took a step in the right direction, doubling that win total, and I think they have some momentum going into next year. Let's go to softball now, as they had one of those memorable moments this year as they broke their 56-game conference losing streak. But let's go back to that losing streak just a little bit, not to focus on the negative, but what do you think contributed to why the softball team has struggled this much?
Well, I think once again we get back to the part-time coaching ideal. You're playing against teams that do have full-time coaches. You know, Shantrika Hudson, our softball coach, who just got inducted in the Armstrong County Hall of Fame this past Sunday, has a split responsibility. She's the head softball coach and she works in academic enrichment, and that makes it pretty difficult when you're out there recruiting and some of the other PSAC schools are saying, hey, we have a full-time coach in this position, and that makes it difficult. But we provide the opportunity to our student athletes, and we provide the opportunity as far as scholarships go on the softball side. And we're getting, I think we're getting better. I mean, one thing I see for the last few years since Coach Hudson has taken over, our margins of victories and losses have not been staggering. I mean, for the first couple years when Coach Hudson took over, we were losing by some big numbers. Those margins are starting to close in a little bit more, and once again, it's pitching. If we can go out there and obtain some good pitchers, I think we're going to get better. We've tried to upgrade our facilities to make the recruiting wars a little bit better for us, and once again, our weather is just horrendous. And for our team to be able to get out there to practice and do some of the things, we just can't do it. It's really disheartening to me that on March 28th, March 29th, March 30th, we're still in Tippin Gym and we haven't been outside yet for a softball practice or a baseball practice. It makes it very difficult, but I have confidence in Coach Hudson that she's going to continue to make this program pretty strong as we head forward.
Let's continue with some of the teams that had some success this year, Mr. Cadis, and let's go to volleyball, as they had another great year under Coach Mills, and who has brought yet another very strong recruiting class. So have you begun to bring back any expectations for this team to make any deep runs in the NCAA Division II tourney at some point in the near future? We know they've done it before, not too recently, going to the Elite Eight. Can they do that again or even go further? We
would like to win the national championship in volleyball. So that is a very lofty goal, but it's a goal that I think as time goes on is attainable. Coach has done a great job, and John Struber, assistant, has done a great job. Yesterday and today, they've already had recruits on campus for 2016, I believe, and that's very encouraging. For I should say the fall of 2015. So that's very encouraging, and the team coming back, I think they have a lot of depth, and as I mentioned maybe earlier in the segment, with Laura Subject coming back as the leader of that team, it's going to be really different not to see Hannah Heater out there in the volleyball team, but for Laura to come back and as a leader on this team, that means an awful lot. Anytime you can return the PSAC West Player of the Year in volleyball, that's something that's pretty strong. I'm very proud of our volleyball team. I'm proud of the coaches. They are out there recruiting. That is the #1 idea. You got to have the horses out there to perform, and we are building a heck of a tie in Western Pennsylvania with some of the club volleyball teams down there, and I know that Coach is selling the new facility, and that's helping an awful lot. A lot of people don't realize how important it is, because some of these kids are coming from unbelievable gymnasiums, and they'll be coming into our newly renovated gymnasium, and it is going to be a first-class facility. So very excited about volleyball heading into next fall.
I think all of us are very excited about the team, too, especially with all the success that they've had recently. Now you have some head coaching vacancies to fill. So first, let's go to soccer. And first, your reaction on Rob Eden leaving for Lock Haven.
Loved Rob. Rob is my age. He's 50 years old. And it's really nice to be able to walk down a hallway to talk to somebody your age and live through these things. Growing up, I always tell him, growing up in Braddock, Pennsylvania, like I did, he grew up in Liverpool, but we had a great connection. It was very, very difficult to see Rob leave the next few days. He was packing up his office a little bit today, but you know, he's a family man. His wife teaches at Lock Haven. He captained the Lock Haven soccer team when he was there. His children attend Lock Haven, and his house is 6 miles away. So it's very difficult to see him go. But Lock Haven, as I look back on it, somebody told me, he says, boy, you must have had a pretty good hire if Lock Haven came in and took him away from you and hired him with their extensive search that they did. So we're in the process of searching for a new soccer coach, and Rob is all for us getting somebody in here pretty good to take his shoes. He left the program in better shape than he found it, and that's all I can ask for the coaches. And it was a family decision. Now, Matt, if he was heading IUP or California, I'd really have a tough time with that one. But for him to go to Lock Haven and be able to go back home to his farm and his family back there, God bless him. I wish him nothing but the best at Lock Haven.
Now, what are the updates can you provide on this head coaching search, and what qualifications will you be looking for in the next head coach?
I am looking for somebody that's a proven winner. I think we've already gone through the let's see what we can do. You need to build the program. Program is built. We got to get somebody in here that's got the experience and somebody in here that can take us to the next level. We won a winning season. All through the soccer, when it was started a long time ago, we really have not had a winning season in soccer, and we need to make sure we establish that and get that going in the right direction. And Coach has a great recruiting class, and we think that that's going to be a big plus. And with our facility being changed over, May 19th, we're going to start the changeover in turf down there, and that's going to be a big plus. And we're going to have brand new turf down there, and I think that'll be a selling point, not only with the new turf, but the renovation project in Tippin for a coach to come in and say, hey, we're going to have an auxiliary gym. It looks like we're going to be able to do some of that practice in the wintertime instead of in Tippin on hardwood. We might be able to do some things on a nice little turf, cross your fingers, grass field inside of the old swimming pool.
Certainly would be nice to see for sure. You have some bigger shoes to fill with the women's basketball head coaching vacancy as Coach Parsons decided to retire after 25 years with the program. So again, I'll take your reaction to her decision to retire now at this point.
Well, Gee's done a great job for the university. She's been a solid rock in the women's basketball program, and I think she deserves to go out and retire and travel like she wants to do and see the world, and somebody will come in to take over that position. I'm overwhelmed with the amount of applications we've already received for that position. It has been posted for a while. It'll be out there for another week or so, and I sort of peeked in, Matt, to look at the quality of candidates. I'm not on the search committee, but it's amazing how many phone calls I've had and how many applications I've had so far for that position, and we're very pleased, and I'm very confident the search committees, both in women's basketball and both on the soccer end of it, are going to find us a pretty good candidate. It's amazing. When we first started out here, when we had searches, you had a handful of applications. I think everybody realizes we're heading forward, and with what we're trying to do in athletics, and I think that is indicative to the amount of applicants we have for positions.
Now let's go back to some of those memorable moments that we saw this year in Clarion athletics. And Mr. Catrillo, if you can talk about the incredible ending we saw with the diving team this year at Nationals.
Well, Wendy was there, my associate athletic director, and I can, off the record, and I guess I got to be on the record, I'm sitting in a kitchen at our friend's house in Knox, Pennsylvania, and watching a laptop and seeing Kristen Day win the national championship there, and a lot of yelling and screaming in the kitchen when the Clarion people made it up on the podium. So we're very proud of her, and also Heath Calhoun winning, and also Colin Vest, the true freshman, winning that, and both of them being male and female divers of the year, and Coach Rovat getting Coach of the Year. That's a big sweep for our swimming and diving program. We need to improve very much so on the swimming end of it, so we're able to score more points at nationals. I mean, we only sent one swimmer to nationals, Emily Geisingham, and we need to do better, and we need to do better in the conference, both on the men's side and definitely on the female side. So Coach Van Dyke has his work cut out for him, and you know, we need to improve going into next year.
Well, definitely, for sure. A lot of great memorable moments, too, certainly with track and field as well as they get ready for the PSAC Championships this weekend. But Mr. Catrillo, we appreciate your time coming on here to giving your state of the Golden Eagles, and we're looking forward to another great year of Clarion athletics next year.
We're sure hoping so, Matt. A lot of pressure on a lot of people, and we are going to pull forward, and I think there's a lot to look forward to in the upcoming year. So thanks for having me.
And we are definitely looking forward to that. Thanks again to Mr. Dave Catrillo, Clarion University Athletic Director, for his time here on Golden Eagles Live.